See, for us as Abu Dhabi Agriculture and Food Safety Authority, we basically do have 3 research stations at the moment. Most of them are dedicated towards the sustainability of this sector. However, we believe that through only partnerships with international universities, for example, or even local universities, which we have done in multiple researches, also trying to promote the results of these researches is very important for us to the sector. In my opinion, I believe the best accomplishments or the announcements or even the initiative that we have pushed recently is through the government of Abu Dhabi, the Abu Dhabi Investments Office. We have basically announced that we have a program dedicated completely for the R&D sector in the agriculture. So whoever see themselves as fit internationally, not only just locally, internationally, that they can benefit from this program and the fund that will be available for them to establish themselves in the region is basically they are welcomed. So I think there is a lot of demands, push on the government level, federal as well as the local government, to attract large names in the R&D sector dedicated to the agriculture in general. General understanding of having a show for the private sectors or also for investors in general or for the breeders is by itself an opportunity to everybody to have a proper networking together. However, I believe the best need at the moment is the knowledge and the equipments that is being utilized, the digitalizations, the basically innovations that we have seen in Europe. The only difference that in Europe we see a big scale farming. Here in the region normally you have a small scale, medium scale farming that is scattered, 24 almost 1,000 breeders and farmers within the Emirate of Abu Dhabi by itself is a challenge, and it's an opportunity as well. So we believe Eurotier is bringing the know-how. We believe this know-how needs to be sustainable. For me, I look at the localizations is basically trying to capitalize on the return of investments. Having control over the full supply chain, it could be either good for you or bad for you. Sometimes specialization is good. However, due to the, let's say, proper infrastructure that we have in here in Abu Dhabi in general, we believe that this gap can be controlled by the investors, by the breeders themselves. So therefore, having control over the cycle is best. Still, however, we believe that we need still to learn, and we need to introduce these technologies to the breeders to make use of it. However, in general, in my opinion, for the livestock breeders in general, or even the private sector, we have the know-how. We have a lot of companies not tapping these resources. They are, for example, looking at the transportation sector, looking at everything. However, you need specialized people in the transportations of animals. If I can compare also myself, I'll compare myself to New Zealand, for example. The number of livestock that we have in here is comparable to what we have also in New Zealand. However, if we see the utilizations that they have in there, the self-sufficiency they have there is high. So in general, as a federal government here in the UAE, we have recognized the commodities, the food security commodities that we believe we can close the self-sufficiency gaps, or at least fulfill a higher percentages of that. Livestock is definitely raised on the top of that. Therefore, we are putting a lot of efforts in this sector, trying to enable the breeders themselves, bringing them the know-how, the technologies, in order for us to have that localizations, branding, hopefully soon. I think recently we have seen the growth illustrated on the breeders themselves. Breeders, they have a hunger to learn more about best practices. We believe that with the challenges that we hear worldwide about biosecurities and the challenges of some cross-border diseases, for example, the dependencies and the request or the demand that is coming to our livestock breeders locally to fulfill the demands of the market is increasing. So that's by itself is an opportunity. Also for us, we believe that we have a proper infrastructure, and we have a very good dialogue that is going on between us and the livestock breeders. That dialogue have resulted of identifying certain areas of improvements. For example, creating more direct channels between them and the consumers by creating different marketplaces, for example, to them. Also trying to take by their hands during the religious holidays, for example, like Eid al-Adha. It's very important for them to present what they have of their products. So for us, we believe also that there is a lot of untapped resources of these animals. For example, the milk of the goats and the sheep is not being utilized that well. Trying to have the cheese productions dependencies on this is also an area where that requires a lot of investments to make use of that. All this will result on changing the mindsets of the livestock breeders. We believe that their mindset is now set only in making quick cash. However, improving and having a sustainable productions of the animals that they have will depend on the increasing demands, and that we will push them also to improve on the breeds that they are basically having at the moment.